News.com. This is our special edition where we're interviewing different candidates throughout the state. Today is Mr. Jim Rutledge is with us today. Thank you for being here, Jim.
Thank you, Joe.
We appreciate it very much. Let me dive right into these questions. Jim, you're an attorney in private practice. You've never held elective office. Why are you running for U.S. Senate?
Well, Joe, right now we're witnessing the largest expansion of our federal government in our lifetimes. Unemployment remains high, and our national debt is at $13 trillion and rising. Yet we're still seeing from Washington the greatest threats of our own individual liberties that we've ever faced. And in Maryland, Senator Barbara Mikulski is the chief culprit for these problems. She's a career politician, been in Washington for 34 years, which is too long for anyone, and I am committed not to sit on the sidelines. I am a very conservative constitutional attorney. I believe in the Constitution as written, and we need to defend these freedoms and these values that made America exceptional right here and right now. So I'm not going to stay on the couch, and I haven't been sitting on the sidelines. So it's been for almost a year and a half now since I made the decision to run, and have been going across this state, taking the message of economic prosperity and opportunity to everyone, and our individual liberties to defend those, and that's what we're going to do.
Good deal. You faced the incumbent Senator Democrat Barbara Mikulski. Why should voters choose you over her?
Well, I would ask folks to, if you're old enough, ask yourself, are you better off now than you were 34 years ago when Barbara Mikulski went to Washington? And if you're not, you know, it's a reality. Take a look and see, are you better off now than you were 10 years ago? Where are we in Maryland? We have 8 out of 24 jurisdictions with over double-digit unemployment. The Eastern Shore has been devastated. Worcester County has over 16.5% unemployment. It goes on and on with our deficits rising, and there's not a tax increase or a larger assumption of federal debt that Barbara Mikulski has not supported. Right. We are night and day difference. She doesn't understand the entrepreneurial spirit that is what fuels job creation. She's never created a job. She's never owned her own business, and she doesn't even operate under the same rules and regulations that she's put on us. So she doesn't relate. She doesn't get it. It's time for her to go.
Okay. What do you believe are the biggest challenges facing the lower shore, and what are your solutions for those challenges?
Well, the lower shore faces 2 big challenges in my view. One is unemployment. It is rampant, it is high, and the types of jobs that folks are able to get just are not the kind of quality, higher paying jobs that the people are qualified to do here. And the other is just continuing to battle with the environment and what's going to happen to keep the bay clean and those issues. So my proposal for job creation are lower taxes, limited government, and strong national security. And to do that, on the shore, we need to, number one, make sure that the investment environment for businesses, small businesses, and business expansion is job friendly, job creation friendly. Number 2, we need to stop the Democrat threat of putting high energy taxes on our energy. We cannot afford to go with high diesel tax and high fuel taxes. The shore is dependent upon the efficient water transportation systems. So I support dredging, and I support being able to get the red tape out of the way so that more water-based jobs as well as land-based jobs can be created and operate efficiently on the shore. The cap and trade type of energy taxes will devastate the economy on the shore beyond what it's already suffered. And as far as water quality, I'm a defender of clean water, and I believe that a lot of the dirty water in the bay comes from human waste rolling out of Baltimore City and down the Susquehanna River. And I don't think enough attention's been paid to that, about what happens when a wastewater treatment plant overflows. There's a lot of chemicals that go along with the waste into the water.
We know it here.
That type of infrastructure is the type of infrastructure government should be involved in.
Okay. The federal government recently passed so-called health care reform, better known as Obamacare. Will you support legislation to repeal it? Will you support defunding it? If not, why?
I support repealing it and replacing it. In order for the bill to be repealed, we're going to have a new president of the United States. In the meantime, we're going to defund it, and we're going to put roadblocks in the way for its institution. Because once large federal government agencies are created and funded, it's very hard to undo them. So it's very important right now that we elect the right people who are going to fight this tooth and nail this fall in 2010. So during the budgetary process, we can make sure that we're going to slow this beast down so it can be repealed when we have a new president.
Okay. As we all know, the Eastern Shore is loaded with conservatives. What's the temperature that you feel in this campaign is the atmosphere throughout the rest of the state as you travel around?
Well, the atmosphere is people are scared to death and they're worried. They're losing jobs. The jobs that they've been able to get back, Joe, are at much reduced rates of pay than their previous jobs. If you take the Baltimore City area, the metropolitan area, they have had a doubling in foreclosures in just the past 12 months. You see, the stimulus package has failed. People are recognizing now with the increasing national debt and job picture still doing very poorly, that they've been sold a bill of goods with the Obama administration, but also with Senator Mikulski and her big government policies are killing job creation. To create jobs, we need lower taxes, limited government, strong national security, and that message is resonating across the state. Also, in addition to jobs, many Democrats across the state are recognizing that our illegal immigration problem is huge. It's burdening state government, but it's also unfairly competing for jobs that many Marylanders would love to have. Those messages are resonating, and we are gaining crossover Democrat support for the Rutledge campaign as well as independents. It's a great grassroots campaign that's turned from grassroots to a grass fire. So across the state, we have a very strong campaign, and it's encouraging that so many folks who've never been involved in politics before are getting off the couch and getting involved.
Well, it's interesting because that was going to be my next topic I wanted to say on the sly was, you know, I'm proud of you. I really, this is one of the most encouraging, enthusiastic campaigns I've seen in a lot of years, Jim. You really have sparked that fire, so to speak, for grassroots campaigns because you're not backed by a ton of money. I mean, you know, and people, everybody I talk to, they're smiling, they're happy, they love talking about you, they love sharing your message. You know, this is just something clean and something I haven't seen in a long time, and I congratulate you for that.
Well, thank you, Joe. We're taking it right to the people with strong, bold messages, listening to what folks have to say, and delivering a clear message for prosperity. When I talk about taxes, I want to eliminate the income tax code entirely. It can't be fixed. I learned that on the farm, growing up with my dad's veterinary business. Some animals can't be cured and need to be put down. And this is one beast that needs to be put down. We are talking boldly, and people are getting involved in that. Yeah, I am a Rutledge, not a Rockefeller.
Right.
Yeah, I am from a farming family. I'm only the second professional in my whole family, and we don't have millions of dollars in cash to throw in to try to buy a Senate seat. We're not going to do it. We believe it's the people's seat. We believe absolutely that if the people of Maryland want to get involved in an honest-to-God grassroots campaign based upon principles and in believing in ourselves more than we believe in our government, then this is the campaign to get involved in.
Well, we've got about a minute left. One of the things I'd like to ask too is, I know we talked earlier, I'm not sure if we talked about it in this particular interview, but we talked about term limits.
Yes, sir.
How do you feel about that?
I'm in favor of term limits. 2 terms for the U.S. Senate.
2 terms, okay. And that's, how do you feel about Congress and delegates and across the board?
I think the term limits ought to be adopted across the board. Why should we term out the governor of the state of Maryland? Why should we term out the president and not get rid of the power leaders in the legislature as well? We ought to term limit committee chairs, both in the state legislature and in the federal government. Committee chairs shouldn't be some lifetime appointment just because you hung around long enough or had enough of the right kind of money support to stay in office just to lord over the committees, because the committees make or break legislation.
Good point. Jim, I can't thank you for taking the time to come out here today and working with us and expressing your message. It's a great message. We enjoy it. We enjoy having you. And can we get your commitment to come back after the primaries and discuss before the generals election?
Absolutely, and if you want to learn more, rutledge.wmv.com. The website has a lot of information, and I'll be happy to come back.
Thanks, folks. We appreciate you being here. Have a good night.